Hello, everybody. My name is Kyra Delifka, and in this video, we're going to be talking about doing a quote from start to finish using Google Docs to make it look really professional. So I'm over here in Vax. You guys should all have access to Vax. Usually a few days after you register for it, you should get an email for approval. So I'm actually going to go over here and put together a vacation really quickly that we can use as an example for this quote. So I'm going to go ahead and use FunJet. I would say this is the one we probably use the most frequently, but as you can see, there's a lot of other suppliers that you can use as well. For this package, we're going to go with a flight, a hotel, and we're going to add a rental car at the end, leaving out of Houston, and we're going to go to Cancun. And for this example, we're just going to do 2 adults. We're going to say that it is a couple going on vacation. Now, of course, you want to personalize it to whoever your client actually is. So I put in some dates, November 4th through November 9th, 5 nights. And whenever I do a quote, I always add in travel protection, okay? Guys, it's so easy to remove this later. I find that it's better to just price this out from the front. And most of the time, my clients actually end up buying it, which is what you want, right? This is going to make your life easier should there be any problem. So I always go ahead and add it because, I'd rather take it out and lower the price than have them request it and then have to quote them a higher price. So we're going to go ahead and click search. Sometimes this takes a second, depending on how Vax is feeling. So we will give that a moment. Now, one really great feature that we're going to go ahead and use right from the get-go is going to be create that sales email, okay? So once this loads, I will show you guys where this is. It is taking quite some time, but this is what you're going to see when you go and pull up that package for the first time. So I see some problems here with the flights. We're going to resolve the hotel first. But there's this button over here that says create sales email, okay? If you want to put together multiple options in a nice format, you're going to want to create this sales email. So actually, let me unclick this. Oh, well, I can't do that. You'll see these add to sales email buttons at the bottom of each room type. And that is how you add something to your sales email that's going to combine everything together. So you don't have to just include one hotel and one rental car or one activity, anything like that. You can add multiple things, and that's what's really great about this. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the Dreams Vista. This is an all-inclusive in Cancun if you're not familiar. So this screen that you see here, this is actually what we're going to be sharing with our clients. So really important that you take a look at what pictures are up there so that you know what your client is going to see when you send this to them. And we'll be covering that in a minute. So it looks really nice. It's on the beach. Another thing that I did notice is that this one, for example, this first one that popped up is like 55 miles away from the airport. So that's like a bit of a red flag. In some cases, we may want to do that. But, when our clients are first arriving, that's a good hour that they're going to be in the car. So one of the things that struck me about this one is it's about 10 miles from the airport. Another thing that's really easy to miss is this little plus sign right here. So this plus sign is actually going to expand out every room type that is available for that hotel for those dates. One thing also to point out is that this hotel is doing complimentary on-site COVID testing. If your clients are going out of the country, this is something you want to be looking for right now when you're picking out hotels. So most of the ones in Mexico are going to offer this. It's not hard to find. There's a lot of great options that do that. So we can see here the Deluxe Ocean View King. And like we said, in this case, we're going to say it's a couple, 2 adults. So I'm going to go ahead and add this one to my sales email and minimize out. So let's pick another option as well to add. I'm going to go to the Riu Palace, actually. Let's take a look at this one. This one's a little farther off from the beach, but it is still a beachfront property. The pictures look nice. Of course, you can always Google these as well because your clients are probably going to Google these resorts when they are looking for themselves. There's also some good promotions going on, possibly some honeymoon credits with this hotel. Those are things to look for, especially if you have a guest going on their honeymoon. So let's see what room types we have here. So if you're not quite sure what a junior suite is, you can actually click on it and it gives you some information on what's the room. So this one is going to be 1 king bed or 2 double beds. That would mean if we were to book this, we would need to notify at the reservation time that we want the 1 king bed. And we also want to follow up with the hotel or the BDM for RIU and make sure that they know that, just so that our clients don't show up and get the wrong number of beds. So a little bit of information on there that'll tell you 3 adults, 2 children, up to 4. So that's what the junior suite is. It can be really helpful because different hotels call rooms different things. So we're going to go ahead and add this one to the sales email, but I'm actually going to select this one as well so I can go ahead to change the flights. Let's see how long it wants to take. So one thing I like to point out about the flights is they're always by default sorted lowest to highest price. So when you're looking at flights, you want to keep in mind that you probably don't want to scroll down that much. The farther you scroll, the more the price is going to be going up. Another thing is you'll see here non-refundable. If you see non-refundable, that means even if you buy the travel protection, that airfare is not refundable. Same goes for hotels. There'll also be non-refundable rates on hotels. So just keep in mind that if you're selling them travel protection, make sure you're also selling them refundable air and hotel. Otherwise, they're buying travel protection that they really can't even use. Another thing I really like to do with flights is I can tell you that between Houston and most Mexico destinations, you can get a nonstop. So I want to put my clients on a nonstop when that's going to be really easy to find and it's not going to be too pricey. You can see the second one here is actually United Airlines nonstop, but we have a nonstop filter over here on the side. A lot of people miss this. And it's usually my first go-to. I always want to look at what I can get nonstop first. And even though this is a quote, I still like to try and pick the most desirable flights that I can for the best price. It's a balance there. I don't like to send my clients on their trip and have them arrive after dinner time if that's not what they've asked for, right? I usually have my clients want to leave early in the morning because they're usually going on vacation, right? They want to get there, they want to sit by the pool or at the beach, and they want to have a nice meal at the resort. So I try and avoid these night flights because once they get through customs, even though they're only landing a little bit before 7 p.m. in Cancun, it would probably be 9 or 10 before they get to their resort. And that's just not the best situation. So I'm usually willing to quote a higher price on a flight if I find it to be more desirable. So I'm actually going to keep going down. I don't personally like to quote Spirit because they do charge a lot of like almost surprise fees on things. So I don't typically quote Spirit unless I have a single traveler. So I'm going to go down here. This is the first one I see that I really like. It is pretty early, but I'm noticing that if they leave at 9 instead of 7, it's the same price. This is a little bit better, right? They're going to get there. They're going to get to their resort. They're going to have some time to settle in before they have their dinner. So I'm actually going to go ahead and select this one, even though it was a bit of an upcharge. Flights or something that you can always negotiate with the client later. Again, I'm going to click nonstop for this return flight, but I think they all were nonstop. And I'm going to go ahead and on the return flights back, I don't like to send my client like so early in the morning that they're not getting a good breakfast. I try and let them have like a little bit of time to finish packing and to leave. so that they don't have to wake up at 3 a.m. on their last day. Nobody wants to do that when they have to leave their vacation, right? Nobody wants to wake up that early on their last day of their trip. They already don't want to go. So let's see what we can find. I actually am noticing that these first three are the same price. And this 417, I'll tell you, for international, they usually recommend you arrive at the airport 3 hours early. So this would have them arriving at the airport about 1 o'clock. That would be the recommendation. Of course, they don't have to adhere to that. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one. So that's really great. We were able to get them nonstop flights on both ways, and they were refundable air as well as a refundable hotel. So when you're doing a sales email, you can't add multiple flight options, not easily at least. So it's best to pick the flights that you think are the most suitable for the client